This time on Quest for the Open, I take on Open Qualifying, bask in the beautiful sunshine, and play absolutely awful. Right, it's T minus 20 minutes until tea time. Open qualifying is here at Hesketh. Had a decent warm up, hitting the ball okay, 6 out of 10, and direction is controllable to an extent. Like this.
Some thick rough.
A slightly unnatural pose as well. I'm just going to get some point done and then have at it. Whatever happens, I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Such enthusiasm from the lad.
There's only 6 places available, so there's already 2 scores on the par. You're looking, you know what, I reckon 3 under. Might squeeze it, or might get in the playoff. Level ain't gonna be good enough today. Anyway, good luck. Film well. See you on the other side.
Let's do it.
There's quite a lot of people there.
And from the Swing Quest Golf, Peter Finch.
So if you have been following the series this year, I've been playing in comps throughout the year, building up to Open Qualifying, and I've actually been playing pretty well. I've managed to get my game in a decent spot. I've had some good finishes, you know, had many under par rounds, and I've actually been tracking really nicely. But on that first tee, I felt something which I've not felt in quite some time, and that was just like real gut punching nerves. I mean, onto that first tee, I actively try and encourage people to obviously come down and watch, and to have people there is one of the best things ever, because it just shows that there's actually a real connection between the people who are watching the videos and who want to actually engage. But it was very nerve-wracking, and it got very nerve-wracking when I pulled up my tee shot and almost decapitated one of those many people who came to watch.
Drop 8. Drop 8.
So I was level through 2 holes, but admittedly they're not the most difficult. You know, it's a short par 4, a short par 3, but I was feeling so uncomfortable. I just felt very kind of loose and nervous, and my arms felt a little bit kind of heavy. It was an unusual sensation that I've not had in a long time. So yeah, I just didn't feel right.
Go, turn. Oh.
Yeah, ball.
That's an early tee pickup right there.
Good ball. That's the best shot he's hit today.
Come on, Pete. Go, go.
So this was, I think, the worst tee shot that I've hit all year. A duck pull hook straight out of bounds when I was trying to play a fade. And this is what I mean about not having a sensation of what I was doing. I've played a fade literally all my life. And I've been trying to work in a little bit more of a draw shape this year for some variation. But to stand up on a tee and not be able to hit a fade and hit that shot, that really just sent my mind reeling.
Be alright, that I think.
Come on, Pete. That Pete.
So on a par 5 like this, it's disappointing because it's not a long par 5. Yes, it was playing firm, it was playing tough. The conditions on that day were a lot different than during the practice rounds. The computation of trying to land the ball so short and letting it release to the pin, I couldn't get used to it. I couldn't get my calculations right. And I managed to get up and down really nicely. This was a great chip from the back of the green. But again, I just didn't feel confident. I didn't feel good. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, at this point, I really felt like there was no way back. I kind of knew that I wasn't playing anywhere near well enough to get back to level or under par where I needed to be. So it was a bit depressing. So this wasn't a terrible tee shot. It was a little bit fat toe. Tried to play a fade, ended up pulling it a little bit. This pitch came out so strange and ended up in the trap to the right, which was a big short side because it was all downhill. And I actually played a really good bunker shot. It just clipped the very top of the bunker and ended up being short of the pin, and then just a weak putt. And if you have been watching the videos, you'll know that I kind of filled with Podrick Harrington this year, and straight after that, after listening to what he said and kind of rearranging how I was thinking on the golf course, being more positive, not being so down on myself, all that was incredibly hard to cling on to. At this moment, I absolutely hated myself because it was just painful to have all this build up, to have all this encouragement from everybody, and then just to let it slip away in this manner without a fight was just, it was sad.
God's sake.
So after this hole, I mean, you can tell, like, probably just looking at me, like how disappointed I actually was, because I knew obviously I wasn't going to get anywhere near the qualification mark. Everything had gone, and I was just trying to enjoy myself a little bit more. And it's probably no coincidence that this happened to be my best run of golf, with pars, some attempts at birdies as well. But if I'm trying to be a decent golfer, like, I shouldn't be celebrating managing to hit a fairway with a 5-iron. You know, this should be a standard. But on that day, hitting a tee shot onto the fairway felt exceptional, because it wasn't happening for the rest of the round.
Ja. birdies go in.
So on the 18th tee, I knew that even if I birdied this hole, I wouldn't break 80. And throughout the whole round, I was almost like recalculating what I was trying to do. Obviously, first of all, I was trying to get around level, trying to get under. Then as it progressed, I was just trying to stop the rot. Then as it got further on, I was like, oh, can I just break 80? And I didn't manage to birdie the par 5. And I knew that even, you know, a great hole on the 18th wasn't going to save me. So I let some anger out on this 18th tee shot, managed to bomb it quite a long way down there. It's normally a par 5 and I only had a 9-iron in. But this shot, man, it found literally the worst lie on the golf course. And I'd been in some lies that day, let me tell you. Hacked it out in two putt and ended up with a double bogey to finish, which really was just a final kick in the stomach.
Lumpy.
On that last green, I don't think I've ever felt more disappointed, more sad, more inclined to leave the course as quickly as possible than after that hole. And when I tapped in, and like the people who'd stuck around, and that's what I do. I do want to say a huge thank you again to everyone who came. It was very touching that so many people stuck around, probably because Charlie, who I was playing with, and Jake, they actually hit some very good shots, and Jake did get through to final qualifying. Fingers crossed for you, pal. But the applause was very sympathetic. I think everybody knew exactly how much I was struggling, and not having a clue where the ball was going is just the worst thing. And it was definitely situation based, because we've been out here today, we've been recording a Record Breakers episode and play some really good golf. Something I do want to say, and I honestly mean this, after the round, I was feeling a little bit emotional, not gonna lie. did a podcast. I was fighting back the tears. And I did a few posts on kind of social just to explain everything that went on. The amount of messages that I got it surprised me. You know, I know that, you know, we have a decent following here on the channel, and, you know, to have you guys along for the ride with the Quest for the Open is one of the main reasons why we do it, to try and pass on what we've learned. But the amount of messages from people being overarchingly incredibly supportive, I'm not entirely sure I've had a negative message from anyone, and that was something that I did worry about. I mean, I can throw up a few stats here, but to be honest with you, I don't really feel the need. I almost feel this was such an aberration, this was such an odd round, the worst possible round at the worst possible moment, that it almost defies any kind of statistical analysis. This was purely a mental issue. So however far I think I've come technically with my game, and however far I think I've progressed with the mental side of things, it's obviously not enough. You know, those structures weren't strong enough to hold up under that amount of strain. So we have one more Quest for the Open episode kind of planned for this series, and the question is really, do we continue, and is it worth it? I still enjoy the process of playing and being in comps, and there were some really good moments this year. But have I managed to pass on enough good information to you guys? I'm not sure. So maybe that's a restructure. Get down into those comments and let us know what you think about the series. Have you enjoyed it, following along? What are some of the things that we could include if we do this again that might benefit you more? But yeah, after that, it has left me questioning, you know, what's the point a little bit. So I don't know, to be honest. But thank you for watching. Yeah. See you next time.